Stop eating your healthy seeds until you watch this. If you are over 60, what you think is protecting your brain might actually be straining your blood flow. Today, we are revealing why 7 super seeds can be dangerous after 60. You probably believe you are eating healthy snacks for seniors, but some of these dangerous healthy foods are hiding in plain sight. If you are looking for stroke prevention over 60, you need to understand how to improve cerebral blood flow before your next meal. Your brain is the most oxygen-hungry organ in your body. It depends on a steady, smooth, well-regulated supply of blood every single second. This is the core of brain health for seniors. At 30, your arteries were flexible. At 60, your backup flow narrows. Metabolic noise becomes dangerous. Your cerebral perfusion reserve, the brain's emergency backup blood flow, shrinks. Your vessels stiffen. Your tolerance for metabolic swings becomes thinner than most people realize. This is where the story gets uncomfortable. Some seeds, especially when used in concentrated amounts, can quietly destabilize hydration, mineral balance, vascular tone, or blood viscosity. In stroke prevention over 60, subtle instability is often where the real danger begins. Seeds are not poison. They are powerful biological tools, but powerful tools used without understanding can strain a system that no longer has the buffering capacity it once did. After 60, your brain does not need metabolic noise. It needs vascular stability. It needs fluid blood, flexible arteries, steady pressure, and balanced minerals. I am Dr. Marcus Bell, and today, we are going to walk through 7 commonly praised seeds and examine them through a lens most marketing never discusses: cerebral blood flow mechanics. We will explore the truth about super seeds and reveal the foods to avoid after 60 that might be hiding in your pantry. Because sometimes the greatest risk after 60 is not what is obviously unhealthy. It is what feels unquestionably healthy. And stay tuned, because seed number 1 is something almost every senior has in their kitchen right now. Worst seed number 7, sunflower seeds. We begin our countdown with a seed that almost every senior believes is harmless: sunflower seeds. They sit in bowls at baseball games, in resealable snack bags in your pantry, and sprinkled over salads and yogurt as a symbol of clean eating. You see them as a natural alternative to chips, a simple way to add crunch without guilt. But after 60, the question is no longer whether a food contains nutrients. The question is how that food behaves inside an aging vascular system that has less margin for error. The real concern with sunflower seeds is not that they are toxic, it is that they are highly concentrated in omega-6 fatty acids. This contributes to hidden inflammation within the vessel walls. Maintaining a healthy omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is critical for reducing arterial stiffness. But the more immediate danger is not the fat profile. It is sodium and portion distortion. This is the sunflower seed sodium risk that often goes unnoticed. Very few seniors eat raw, unsalted sunflower seeds in measured 1-ounce servings. Most eat them roasted and salted, often by the handful, and often mindlessly. Sodium intake directly influences blood pressure, and blood pressure variability, not just high numbers but unstable swings, is one of the strongest predictors of stroke risk in older adults. A daily habit of high-salt seed snacking can quietly push resting pressure upward or create morning surges that strain already stiff arteries. Your brain does not require a blocked artery to suffer. It only requires unstable flow. Have you been eating these salted? Pause and tell me in the comments if you check the label for sodium, because that small detail changes everything. The neurological takeaway is not fear. It is precision. Sunflower seeds are not forbidden, but after 60, they must be treated as a concentrated fat source, not as a casual snack. If you choose them, keep the portion small, about 1 ounce. Choose unsalted. Balance them with omega-3 rich foods like walnuts or fatty fish, and never allow a natural label to override the fundamentals of blood pressure control. Because your brain does not care about marketing. It cares about flow, and after 60, flow stability is everything. Understanding this helps you identify early signs of vascular issues before they become permanent damage. Worst seed number 6, sesame seeds. Sesame seeds rarely feel dangerous. They are small, elegant, and culturally associated with longevity diets, Mediterranean plates, tahini, hummus, and whole grain breads. Many seniors believe sesame is one of the safest fats they can eat. And nutritionally, sesame does contain valuable compounds, lignans like sesamine and sesamelin, moderate amounts of vitamin E, and plant sterols that may support cholesterol balance. But after 60, the vascular question is not simply what a seed contains. It is how your aging body absorbs, or fails to absorb, what that seed delivers. The central issue with sesame seeds and seniors is their extremely high phytic acid content. This leads to sesame seed mineral binding that can deplete crucial nutrients. Now, phytic acid is not a poison. In fact, in younger digestive systems, it can even have antioxidant properties. But phytic acid is also a powerful mineral chelator. It binds to magnesium, calcium, iron, and zinc in the digestive tract, reducing their absorption. Understanding phytic acid in seniors is vital for maintaining endothelial function. Why does that matter for the aging brain? Because magnesium is one of the most important regulators of vascular tone. It helps smooth muscle cells in our arterial walls relax appropriately. Adequate magnesium supports stable blood pressure, reduces vascular stiffness, and protects against arrhythmias. Large observational studies have linked higher magnesium intake to lower stroke risk and improved endothelial function. Now consider the physiology after 60. Gastric acid production declines. Digestive efficiency weakens. Mineral absorption becomes less reliable. If a senior is regularly consuming large amounts of high phytate foods, such as daily tahini, sesame crackers, or sesame-coated breads, without adequate mineral repletion, the result can be subtle magnesium insufficiency. Not a dramatic deficiency, but subtle instability. And vascular instability does not always show up as textbook hypertension. It can show up as blood pressure variability, small fluctuations that stress delicate cerebral microvessels over years. Emerging research shows that this variability itself, independent of average blood pressure, is associated with an increased risk of small vessel disease and white matter changes on MRI in older adults. Your brain after 60 values consistency more than intensity. There is another metabolic layer. Sesame seeds are energy-dense and rich in omega-6 fatty acids. While sesame lignans may offer antioxidant protection, excessive intake without omega-3 balance can still contribute to a skewed fatty acid profile. Again, not catastrophic, but cumulative. And then there is preparation. Traditional cultures often soak, ferment, or roast sesame seeds, which reduces phytate content and improves mineral bioavailability. Modern packaged foods rarely prioritize this. A spoonful of raw tahini daily may be far more mineral binding than the small amounts traditionally used in balanced meals. I once worked with a patient in her early 70s who followed what she believed was a textbook Mediterranean diet: daily hummus, sesame crackers, and tahini dressings. Her cholesterol was acceptable, but she experienced recurrent dizziness when standing and subtle afternoon fatigue. Her labs showed borderline low magnesium. Once we reduced her high phytate seed load, improved her mineral intake through whole foods, and moderated her sesame portions, her orthostatic symptoms improved and her vascular markers stabilized. This is not about demonizing sesame. It is about recognizing that after 60, your mineral economy matters. Your arteries rely on magnesium and calcium balance to maintain smooth, predictable tone. If antinutrients quietly interfere with that balance, your vascular system becomes more reactive, and reactive vessels are less forgiving. The neurological takeaway is simple. Sesame seeds are not forbidden, but they are not neutral. Use them in small amounts. Favor traditionally prepared or fermented forms. Ensure adequate magnesium intake from bioavailable sources, leafy greens, legumes, nuts like almonds, or doctor-guided supplementation if needed. Because your brain does not fail from a single ingredient. It fails from accumulated instability. And after 60, stability is protection. Worst seed number 5, Chia seeds. Chia seeds are marketed as one of the most powerful superseeds on the planet. High in fiber, rich in plant-based omega-3s, also known as ALA, and associated with improved cholesterol markers. Many seniors stir them into oatmeal, yogurt, or water, believing they are strengthening digestion and protecting the heart. But after 60, the question shifts from nutrient density to circulatory mechanics. Many people ask, is chia seed good for seniors? The answer depends on hydration. Chia seeds are extraordinarily hygroscopic. They can absorb 10 to 12 times their weight in water, forming a gel-like matrix due to their soluble fiber content. This property is what makes them beneficial for satiety and bowel regulation. However, in aging physiology, that same property can create unintended vascular stress. This is why chia seeds could be risky if not prepared correctly. Hydration regulation changes with age. Thirst perception declines. Kidney concentrating ability decreases. Total body water percentage falls. Many seniors already operate at the edge of mild, chronic dehydration without even realizing it. When dry or insufficiently soaked chia seeds are consumed, they draw water aggressively from surrounding digestive fluids. If total fluid intake is not substantially increased, this can contribute to a relative plasma volume reduction. The result is hemoconcentration, a higher ratio of red blood cells and platelets relative to plasma volume. Why does that matter? Because blood viscosity, its thickness, directly influences cerebral perfusion. These are foods that thicken blood if consumed improperly. Even small increases in blood thickness can reduce flow through the smallest cerebral capillaries. Studies have shown that higher hematocrit and plasma viscosity are associated with increased ischemic stroke risk, particularly in older adults whose microvascular reserve is already diminished. In the morning hours, when blood pressure naturally surges as part of the circadian rhythm, thicker blood moving through stiffer arteries increases shear stress on vessel walls. Have you been eating chia seeds for your digestion? Pause and tell me how you prepare them in the comments, because there is a right and a wrong way. This is one reason stroke incidence peaks in the early morning. If a senior consumes dried chia at night or first thing in the morning without aggressive hydration, the physiological combination becomes concerning: morning pressure surge plus reduced plasma volume plus age-related arterial stiffness. Beyond hydration, there is the issue of fiber load. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds contain approximately 10 to 11 grams of fiber, a substantial dose. While fiber is beneficial, an excessive bolus intake can alter electrolyte dynamics in the gut and increase fluid shifts. In sensitive individuals, this may contribute to bloating, transient hypertension, or postural instability. There is also a misconception about the omega-3 benefit. Chia provides alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, a plant omega-3. However, the conversion of ALA into the biologically active forms EPA and DHA is extremely limited in humans, often less than 5%, and it is even lower in older adults. So, while chia appears heart protective on a label, its direct impact on cerebral vascular inflammation may be modest compared to marine-based omega-3 sources. None of this means chia is inherently dangerous. It means preparation and context determine its safety. Properly soaked chia, fully bloomed in water for several hours, reduces aggressive fluid shifts. Consuming it alongside adequate hydration, at least 1 full glass of water with intake, minimizes hemoconcentration risk. Keeping portions modest, maybe 1 tablespoon rather than multiple large scoops, prevents an excessive fiber burden. But the neurological principle remains. After 60, your brain depends on fluid, effortless blood flow. Anything that increases viscosity or destabilizes hydration must be approached carefully. Chia seeds are not a miracle shield. Used improperly, they can quietly thicken the very blood your brain relies on for oxygen, and cerebral circulation does not tolerate thickness well. This is a key component of an anti-inflammatory diet for over 60 that is often misunderstood. Worst seed number 4, poppy seeds. Poppy seeds rarely trigger alarm. They are small, decorative, and baked into bagels, muffins, crackers, and lemon loaves. Most seniors see them as nothing more than texture, a harmless garnish that adds crunch and flavor. But after 60, what matters is not how small something looks, it is how it interacts with your autonomic nervous system and vascular stability. Poppy seeds naturally contain trace opiate alkaloids, primarily morphine and codeine residues that remain on the seed coat after harvesting. While the concentrations are extremely low and far below anything close to narcotic levels, they are not biologically inert. Even microdoses of opiate alkaloids can influence the autonomic nervous system, particularly in aging physiology. After 60, cerebral autoregulation, the brain's ability to maintain steady blood flow despite changes in body position or blood pressure, becomes less resilient. Your vessels are stiffer. Your baroreceptors, pressure sensors in the carotid arteries, are slower to respond. Your sympathetic and parasympathetic systems do not adjust as quickly as they once did. This is where poppy seeds become relevant. Alkaloid exposure, even in small amounts, can subtly dampen autonomic signaling. In susceptible seniors, this may contribute to orthostatic hypertension, a drop in blood pressure when standing, followed by a compensatory spike as the body attempts to correct the fall. These rapid swings may not be dramatic enough to register as chronic hypertension, but they create mechanical stress inside fragile cerebral vessels. Why does this matter? Because hemorrhagic stroke risk increases when blood pressure fluctuates sharply. Aging arteries lose their elasticity. The small, penetrating vessels deep in the brain are especially vulnerable to pressure surges. Repeated oscillations, drop, rebound, spike, strain these microvessels over time. There is also a secondary factor. Poppy seeds are often consumed within refined carbohydrate foods, white bagels, sweet pastries, muffins. These high glycemic vehicles trigger postprandial glucose spikes, which transiently increase blood viscosity and inflammatory signaling. When you combine a glucose surge plus autonomic variability plus arterial stiffness, you create an unstable hemodynamic environment. It is not the seed alone, it is the physiological context. Research consistently shows that blood pressure variability, not just sustained hypertension, is associated with a higher stroke risk in older adults. Even modest variability correlates with white matter lesions and small vessel disease seen on MRI. After 60, the brain prioritizes consistency. It tolerates moderate pressure better than it tolerates instability. Another overlooked element is medication interaction. Many seniors take antihypertensives, beta blockers, or diuretics. These medications already alter autonomic responsiveness. Introducing even small, additional autonomic modifiers may amplify postural dizziness or pressure swings. Again, this does not mean a single poppy seed bagel causes a stroke. The risk is cumulative and subtle. Regular exposure in a system that is already fragile may contribute to a vascular variability that the aging brain cannot buffer as efficiently as it once did. The neurological takeaway is straightforward. Your brain after 60 does not need chemical noise. It needs smooth, predictable, stable flow. A garnish may seem insignificant, but when cerebral autoregulation is thinner and arterial walls are more brittle, even minor destabilizers matter. Worse, seed number 3, cottonseed oil, the hidden industrial seed. This is the one almost no one eats intentionally, and yet many seniors consume it weekly without realizing it. Cottonseed rarely appears as cottonseed in bold letters on the front of a package. It hides in ingredient lists as cottonseed oil, in vegetable oil blends, seed bars, crackers, granolas, baked goods, and processed snack mixes. It is inexpensive, shelf-stable, and widely used in industrial food production. But after 60, your brain does not care about cost efficiency. It cares about endothelial integrity and mitochondrial energy. Cotton is not primarily grown as a food crop, it is a textile crop. That matters because agricultural standards and pesticide exposures can differ. The seed contains a natural defense compound called gossypol. Industrial refining removes most of it, but trace amounts can remain in lower-grade oils and byproducts used in processed foods. Gossypol has been studied extensively in toxicology literature. It is known to interfere with mitochondrial function, and this is where the problem becomes neurological. This is the source of cottonseed oil inflammation that damages vessels over time. Your cerebral arteries are lined with endothelial cells. These cells rely on mitochondria, microscopic energy factories, to maintain flexibility, produce nitric oxide, and regulate vascular tone. Nitric oxide is critical. It tells arteries when to relax and dilate so blood can flow smoothly to the brain. When mitochondrial function declines, nitric oxide production drops. Vessels become stiff. Endothelial cells lose their resilience. This condition is called endothelial dysfunction, and it is one of the earliest predictors of stroke and cardiovascular disease. After 60, mitochondrial efficiency is already reduced. Aging naturally decreases cellular energy production. That means your vascular system has less margin for toxins that interfere with mitochondrial respiration. What a 30-year-old might buffer, a 70-year-old may not. There is another issue. Cottonseed oil is extremely high in omega-6 polyunsaturated fats. The modern Western diet already contains excessive omega-6 relative to omega-3. When this ratio skews heavily toward omega-6, inflammatory signaling increases. Chronic, low-grade inflammation reduces endothelial nitric oxide synthase activity, again impairing arterial relaxation. So, what does this mean clinically? It means arteries become rigid, and rigid arteries cannot adapt to moment-to-moment blood flow demands. Stroke is not always about a large clot. Many strokes in seniors are lacunar strokes, small vessel strokes deep in the brain caused by chronic small artery damage. These vessels fail not because they were blocked overnight, but because they were slowly weakened over years by inflammation and endothelial fatigue. In observational research, diets high in refined seed oils are associated with markers of oxidative stress and vascular dysfunction. Cottonseed oil is not the sole culprit, but it contributes to a broader pattern of inflammatory load. The danger here is subtle. No dizziness, no immediate warning, just gradual microvascular decline. That is what makes cottonseed the ghost seed. You do not see it coming. Another overlooked factor is repeated heating. Cottonseed oil is frequently used in commercial frying. When polyunsaturated fats are heated repeatedly, they oxidize, forming lipid peroxides and aldehydes, compounds that directly damage endothelial cells and accelerate arterial aging. After 60, detoxification systems are slower. Oxidized lipids linger longer in circulation. Oxidative stress accumulates faster. Microvessels in the brain, especially those supplying memory and executive function centers, are particularly vulnerable. This is why checking labels for healthy snacks for seniors is so important. Worst seed number 2, flax seeds, when healthy becomes hemodynamically unstable. Now, we move to one of the most beloved seeds in the health world, flax. If you are over 60, you have probably been told flax seeds are a gift to your arteries, rich in omega-3s, high in lignans, packed with fiber. And that is true, in the right form, and the right amount. But here is the clinical reality. After 60, the issue is not whether flax is healthy in theory, it is whether your body can process it safely in practice. The danger is not ground flax used correctly. The risk lies in whole, unground flax seeds consumed daily in large amounts, especially in seniors with slower digestion and borderline hydration. This is the core of flaxseed dehydration risk. Number 1, the digestive mismatch. Whole flax seeds are encased in a tough cellulose shell. Human digestive enzymes cannot efficiently break that shell down. In younger adults with strong gastric motility, some mechanical breakdown may occur. But after 60, gastrointestinal motility naturally slows. That means whole flax often passes through the digestive tract largely intact. But while it sits in the gut, it does not just do nothing. Flax is extremely high in soluble and insoluble fiber, and fiber attracts water. When large quantities of whole flax are consumed without adequate fluid intake, it can create a localized osmotic pull, drawing water into the intestines. For a younger person who drinks aggressively throughout the day, this might not matter. For a senior whose thirst signals are blunted, which is common after 60, this can create subtle systemic dehydration. And dehydration changes blood viscosity. Number 2, blood viscosity and cerebral flow. Your brain depends on fluid, low-resistance blood flow through extremely small capillaries. Even mild dehydration increases hematocrit concentration, meaning the cellular components of blood become relatively more concentrated. Thicker blood does not move as efficiently through small cerebral vessels. This does not automatically cause a major stroke, but it can impair microcirculation, especially during the early morning hours when blood pressure naturally rises, the morning stroke window. If blood is slightly concentrated and vessels are slightly stiff, the combination increases vulnerability. The brain does not tolerate sluggish perfusion well. Number 3, the mineral binding issue. Flax seeds are also high in phytic acid, a compound known to bind minerals such as magnesium, calcium, and zinc. Magnesium is not optional after 60. It regulates vascular tone. It supports endothelial nitric oxide production. It helps stabilize blood pressure and calm vascular reactivity. When large amounts of unprocessed, whole flax are consumed daily, phytic acid can reduce mineral bioavailability, especially in seniors who are already borderline deficient. If magnesium levels fluctuate, vascular tone becomes unstable. Unstable vascular tone means blood pressure swings, orthostatic drops, compensatory spikes, increased mechanical stress on small vessels. Your brain's autoregulation system, its ability to maintain steady flow, becomes more fragile with age. It cannot tolerate repeated fluctuations. Number 4, the fiber overload problem. 2 tablespoons of flax contain around 4 to 6 grams of fiber. That is beneficial in moderation, but many seniors add flax to cereal, yogurt, smoothies, and baked goods, unintentionally doubling or tripling their intake. Excess fiber without proper hydration can slow gastric emptying excessively, increase bloating and gut pressure, alter fluid balance, and exacerbate mild dehydration. And again, dehydration after 60 is not benign. It is a stroke risk multiplier. Number 5, what the data actually shows. Ground flax has been associated in clinical studies with modest improvements in blood pressure and lipid markers. But those studies use finely ground flax, not whole, intact seeds swallowed dry. The difference matters. Whole seeds reduce the absorption of beneficial omega-3s. Ground seeds improve nutrient availability. Even then, flax provides ALA, which must be converted into EPA and DHA, a conversion that becomes less efficient with age. So, the omega-3 benefit is more limited than many assume. These are superfoods for aging brain that require careful handling. Worst seed number 1, superseed mixes, the cumulative perfusion overload. We have reached the top of the list, and it is not one single seed. It is the superseed mix, the trail mix, the heart-healthy granola, the protein bar with 5 different seeds blended together, the gourmet salad topper with flax, chia, sunflower, sesame, and pumpkin all in one spoonful. Individually, each of these seeds may carry specific concerns after 60. But when you combine them, you do not multiply the benefits, you multiply the vascular stress. This is the ultimate test of hemodynamic stability. Number 1, the cumulative omega-6 load. Many commercial seed mixes are dominated by sunflower and sesame, both extremely high in omega-6 linoleic acid. The modern Western diet already contains a high omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, often 15 to 1 or higher, when ideally it should be closer to 4 to 1 or below. Excess omega-6 promotes pro-inflammatory eicosanoid production. Chronic, low-grade inflammation impairs endothelial nitric oxide signaling, the molecule responsible for keeping blood vessels flexible and dilated. After 60, nitric oxide production naturally declines. If your vessels cannot dilate efficiently, cerebral blood flow becomes pressure-dependent rather than self-regulated. That means your brain becomes more vulnerable to small drops in blood pressure, orthostatic shifts, and nighttime perfusion instability. The result is not always a dramatic blockage. Sometimes, it is simply low-flow vulnerability. Number 2, mineral binding stacked on top of itself. Now layer in sesame and flax phytates. Phytic acid binds magnesium, zinc, and calcium. From one seed, it is manageable. From 5 seeds together, the mineral binding load increases significantly. Magnesium deficiency is strongly associated with endothelial dysfunction, increased platelet aggregation, higher blood pressure variability, and increased vascular stiffness. When super seed mixes are eaten daily, especially in seniors with marginal mineral status, they can gradually destabilize vascular tone. And your aging brain does not tolerate instability well. Number 3, the hydration trap. Add Chia into the mix. Chia absorbs up to 10 to 12 times its weight in water. If consumed dry or insufficiently soaked, it draws fluid into the gut. Combine that with high fiber from flax and pumpkin seeds. Now you have a high fiber load, fluid redistribution, increased stool bulk, and potential subclinical dehydration in seniors with already blunted thirst perception. This can subtly increase blood viscosity. Thicker blood increases resistance in small cerebral vessels, especially during the early morning hours when stroke risk naturally peaks. You do not need a clot for perfusion to drop. You only need blood that moves less efficiently. Number 4, hidden industrial oils. Many commercial superseed blends are roasted in vegetable oil blends, often including cottonseed oil or other refined seed oils high in oxidized polyunsaturated fats. Oxidized lipids increase oxidative stress within endothelial cells. Endothelial dysfunction is a well-established precursor to small vessel disease, lacunar strokes, and white matter lesions. You may not feel this happening, but your MRI would. Number 5, the glycemic illusion. Superseed granolas are often paired with dried fruit, honey, syrup, or refined oats. The seeds slow digestion slightly, but not enough to neutralize the sugar load. The result is post-meal glucose fluctuations layered on top of inflammation, mineral instability, dehydration, and vascular stiffness. This is what we call cumulative hemodynamic stress. Number 6, the real stroke risk after 60. After 60, your brain's perfusion reserve is reduced. That means your margin for error shrinks. You can no longer tolerate pressure swings, thickened blood, endothelial irritation, mineral depletion, or chronic inflammation. A superseed mix does not usually cause a sudden, massive stroke. What it can do is create the conditions for lacunar strokes, small deep blockages, microvascular white matter damage, cognitive slowing, balance instability, and low-flow ischemic events. And these are often the strokes that steal independence gradually. Final conclusion. If you are over 60, stroke prevention is no longer about chasing superfoods. It is about protecting one thing: stable cerebral blood flow. Your brain does not care about marketing labels. It cares about fluid blood, flexible arteries, balanced minerals, and steady pressure. Many of the seeds we discussed are not bad in isolation. The problem is excess, improper preparation, and stacking multiple stresses in one meal. Too much omega-6 can increase vascular inflammation. Too many phytic acid-rich seeds can interfere with magnesium balance. Dry, unsoaked chia can contribute to dehydration if fluid intake is low. Whole, unground flax may pass through unused while still pulling water into the gut. Super seed mixes combine all of these effects at once. After 60, your cerebral perfusion reserve is thinner. Your vessels are less forgiving. Small fluctuations in hydration, mineral status, or blood pressure can matter more than they used to. That does not mean you should fear food. It means you should simplify. Choose small portions. Prepare seeds properly. Prioritize hydration. Focus on balance rather than volume. Tonight, do a quick seed audit. Check your pantry. Look at the ingredient lists. If you see cottonseed oil, overly complex seed blends, or habits that do not match your body's needs anymore, it is time to adjust. Precision protects independence. Which seed surprised you most? Go ahead and type it in the comments. If this helped you rethink your breakfast, like this video and share it with a friend. Be sure to subscribe for more science-based guidance tailored specifically for the aging body. We are all about keeping you informed and empowered here on Senior Strength Guide, because your health is your greatest asset.